in what world I thought that was going to work, but it didn't. So I don't know what I was thinking. None of that is to say that you can't do one or the other, because I don't like when people tell me what to do. Now, the third and final thing is the most important. This is the way I built my business. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, a quick intro. My name is Sam D. I am a YouTube strategist and coach. I started my business as a virtual assistant. I dabbled in some social media management, which I hated, and now I work strictly with YouTube and video editing, and it is a true passion of mine, and it really gets me going every day. On my channel, I love to share video editing and YouTube tips. So if that is your jam, make sure you hit subscribe and hit the bell so that you get notified whenever I post a new video every week. So in today's video, I kind of want to walk you down the path that led me to becoming a YouTube specialized virtual assistant. I'm also going to go over a few tips that I think would be helpful if you are also trying to decide if this might be something that you want to do as well. Let's go ahead and dive in. I will try to keep this short. In 2018, I had my second son, and I was working as a certified medical assistant at the time. I never liked going to work because I don't like when people tell me what to do. So I dabbled in some MLMs and network marketing, which really just stressed me out more, and I ended up in more debt, but that's a story for a different day. And so I had my son, and I went back as a medical assistant for a little while and decided to sign up for nursing school and work in the ER nights so that I could go to school, take care of my older son, take care of my baby, and work nights. I don't know in what world I thought that was going to work, but it didn't. It ended up coming full circle because I left working ER, I left school, and I went back to work as a medical assistant and put my 6-month-old baby in daycare. And for me, that is not something that I wanted to do. I hated leaving my baby with somebody so they could essentially raise them from 7 a.m. until 5:30, 6 o'clock p.m., Monday through Friday. For some moms and dads, that works fine. That's not how I wanted to live my day-to-day life. I was miserable. So jumping ahead to early 2019, I ended up finding a work from home job with a medical company, and I took my son out of daycare and he was home with me while I worked. The thing with this company that I worked for is that you had a certain quota, you had to make calls every day, all day. And so I had all of these phone calls going on while my 1-year-old was tearing the house apart and needing me for things while I was on the phone, and I was being recorded, and it was just a nightmare. So I ended up finding my now business coach and mentor, Lauren Golden, through the Free Mama in the Free Mama movement, which I will link down below if you want to check it out. Learned how to become a virtual assistant. I was able to leave my job on my birthday of 2019. I started as a Instagram manager and I hated it. I hardly like to run my own Instagram, so I don't know what I was thinking. Reels came out on Instagram, and I took a mini course on Reels, and I realized how much I loved video and all of the editing pieces. And so an opportunity presented itself to start editing some videos, and I was like, well, I like this reel thing, so let me try this out. And from there, it just blossomed into video editing and YouTube strategy, and I wake up every morning excited to start my work. I literally could sit here 24/7 and do what I do. I have such a passion for it. Enough about me and my story. I want to share with you the key points that helped me decide that this was what I wanted to do, so that if this is something that you are thinking about doing, becoming a YouTube specialized virtual assistant, you can try these things, you can take these tips and see where it leads you. If you love it, then great. If not, then at least you can mark it off the list of something that you don't want to do. So the number one thing thing I think helped me decide was just trying it. I'm somebody that learns by doing, and by really just trying out different things and figuring out different programs, it kind of helped me decide what I liked, what I didn't like, and if I even liked this whole thing at all. So the number one thing I would say is just to get your hands dirty. Get your hands in there, try it out, try it different ways, and see what resonates for you. The second thing I will say is that in the beginning, I was working with clients that maybe weren't in alignment with things that I enjoy and content that I enjoy. And you really, when you are this deep in helping clients create content and editing their content, you want to make sure that they're creating content that's in alignment with your beliefs and it's also something that you're interested in. There have literally been times where I was editing a video and I would start to doze off. So that's my second tip for you, is really just make sure it's somebody that's in alignment with what you believe and what you enjoy. The third and final thing that I think helped me decide is just kind of asking myself, do I like the tech piece and do I like the strategic piece? And that's because I am a all-encompassing YouTube virtual assistant. And when I say that, I mean that the only thing that my clients do is send me their video and get on a call with me once a month. I take their video and I completely edit it, and then I continue on to the YouTube part and make sure that the strategy is in place and we have everything set to go so they are going to be found. Their audience is gonna love their video and keep them engaged. If that sounds similar to something that you enjoy, if you enjoy being creative and also having strategy behind everything that you do, and have like a touch of type A personality, but not quite, then it might be for you. None of that is to say that you can't do one or the other. You can totally be a strictly video editing virtual assistant or a strictly YouTube strategy virtual assistant. It's just a little easier to market yourself when you are a all-encompassing YouTube virtual assistant and you give the client less to think about. Okay, so those were my 3 tips on how to decide if this is something you want to do. Now I want to share with you a few tips that I wish I would have known on how to do this. Again, my best advice still for this topic as well is just to dive in and do it. That is the best way to learn, at least for me. I have made a ton of mistakes and I still make mistakes on a daily basis. But once you make those mistakes, if you can turn it around and learn from it, you are going to be that much better of a professional in what you're doing. And your clients are gonna see that. They're gonna know that you are a forever learner and you are getting your hands in there and figuring it out. The next thing I will say is I didn't realize how many different softwares there were for each things. For example, there's so many different softwares for video editing. There's different softwares for keyword research, and I'll share links to my favorites down below if you want to check those out. But really make sure that you at least give a few of the different options a try so that you know what you like to work with and what you don't like to work with. For example, I started with iMovie and I now use Adobe Premiere Pro exclusively. I do still use a Mac computer, but I just feel like the Adobe for me is way more robust, and while I still don't know how to use it to its full potential, again, I'm still learning every single day and making mistakes on purpose so that I can figure it out and know for next time. Now, the third and final thing is the most important. This is the way I built my business. I got loud about what I do. I went into my communities that I was in on Facebook. I got loud on my Instagram. I'm not somebody that likes to brag at all. If you know me, you know that. But in the community that I am in, the Free Mama community, which I'm going to touch on in a minute, I am known as the video editor and YouTube person. If somebody has a question about video, if somebody has a question about reels even, if somebody has a question about YouTube strategy. I had somebody specifically just for keyword strategy reach out to me the other day. I get tagged, I get sent messages, some people that have found me on Instagram because I've been loud. You have to get out there and let people know what you're doing. Even when I didn't really know what I was doing and I was still really in the trenches of learning the basics, I was loud because I knew it's what I wanted to do and I knew I needed to let people know that. Circling back to the Free Mama community that I am in, this is where I learned the basic of the basics of how to start my own freelance business. I will go ahead and link both the Free Mama movement down below, as well as Lauren Golden's YouTube channel, Free Mama TV. She has a ton of free resources on there if you want to start there and then move your way to the Free Mama movement. If you are starting off like I did with no idea of how to start your business or any of the ins and outs of just the basic building blocks of starting your business, definitely start there. She has a wealth of knowledge for starting a freelance virtual assistant business, and then from there niche down if this is still something that you want to do. Go to those links, check those out, and then from there, if you are already working as a virtual assistant and you know that you want to dabble more in the YouTube side of things, or even if you want to start your own YouTube channel, I have my own community that I started and it is called the Standout Crowd. I host intensives in there. I give the members early access to all of my offerings, and sometimes I do test runs in there of different offers that I am going to be offering down the road. I just actually did that a couple weeks ago with them. So if you are interested in joining that community, the link is also down below. I would be thrilled to welcome you into that community. It is very new and I am excited to start growing that. I am so looking forward to talking to you guys again next week to give you more tips and tricks on video strategy and YouTube strategy.